Xin chào mọi người. Hello, everyone, and welcome to English for Vietnamese Speakers. I'm Lance, and today we're going to be exploring the J versus the CH sound. The CH sound you do have in Vietnamese, chó, dog, but the J sound does not exist in Vietnamese, so this can present some challenges for Vietnamese speakers. But luckily, the mechanics of both sounds are pretty much the same. We just have to add the voicing to the J sound. So let's dig into it. The J sound is significant in English, not only for words that have J's like judge, but the soft G can also make a J sound, such as engineer. So being able to pronounce these clearly is important when speaking English. When making the CH sound, which is the unvoiced part of the pair, your tongue rises to the top of your mouth and you do a burst of air. No voicing though, no vocal cord involvement in making that sound. But when making the J sound, exactly the same mechanics, not quite as much of a burst of air because you have the vocalization to back up the sound. J, j. Now, a couple of key things here. Make sure that you vocalize or voice the sound all the way through. One of the challenges I find with Vietnamese speakers is not voicing the sound. Another challenge that often faces Vietnamese speakers is you're not used to making this sound. So you end up substituting a Y, yudge, or trying to make a D sound, dudge, or a Z, zudge, instead of making the J, j, sound properly. So we need to work on this, and we'll work through some minimal pairs. But let's give some brief examples of these two sounds. So just for some quick practice, I'll release a video with a full minimal pairs and shadow practice as a separate video. But let's take a couple just to work on our sounds in this video. So a real easy minimal pair is Jeep. Now notice how my mouth bunches up a bit. Not quite as much as the SH, but it does bunch up. My tongue touches the top of my mouth, Jeep. And my mouth does not block the airflow and the voicing. So we have to have that open so that we can make that voiced sound. And it's not quite as stopped as the CH sound. The CH sound, you stop the airflow and then release it quickly to give that burst, not with the J. The J is more of a relaxed sound. Judge, judge. There is a release of some air to allow more airflow through, but not the heavy and explosive release like we have with the CH. All right. So again, Jeep, Jeep. And the CH, cheap, cheap. See, we have more of an explosion with the CH and no voicing. If you touch your throat as you're saying those, you should not feel a vibration. And now one more pair just for practicing to work on being able to make this sound. Joke, j, joke. And now the CH unvoiced. Ch, choke, choke. And now again, some of the challenges for Vietnamese speakers, you are used to making the CH sound, which is unvoiced. And so you forget to voice the J sound because again, you don't have this sound in Vietnamese. So jeans become something like cheens, or juice becomes use because you don't have that strong voicing with the J sound and you aren't used to making this sound, okay? The other is adding vowels at the end, even with the CH. Match becomes matcha, okay? So be careful with that. Also, softening the G too much can be a problem. So engineer becomes engineer. So make sure you're getting that strong voicing. This is a common issue, again, for Vietnamese speakers because you aren't used to using these strongly voiced sounds. So it's important to get that strong J N for that soft G in engineers. Okay? Well, that's it for this video. We'll see you next time. Hang up, lie.